Kevin Durant decided to join the Brooklyn Nets in 2019 alongside Kyrie Irving, alongside DeAndre Jordan, and so far, not so good for KD. He's giving it everything he's got as a player. The Nets can't stay healthy, including KD. Kyrie's dealing with this vaccine mandate. They joined this team with DeAndre Jordan. DJ's not even there anymore. He's on the end of the bench in LA. His career is almost over. The Nets have been able to add some pieces like LaMarcus Aldridge. Paul Millsap was there for a few months. It ain't working out, though. And they got some really good players. It ain't working out, though. Steve Nash, to me, hadn't been good as a head coach. I think he's been pretty pedestrian at best, to be real with you guys. Kevin Durant just can cover a pedestrian head coach because he's so great when he's playing. The moment KD goes down, Steve Nash still had Kyrie and James Harden on the road for the last month, and they couldn't win a game. They didn't win a game pretty much for a month. I think this Brooklyn Nets thing has been awful. And I'm one of the people who believes KD would have never ended up in Brooklyn had he not ruptured his Achilles months prior to that in the NBA Finals as the Warriors went down to the Toronto Raptors. I believe if KD was fresh and healthy, he would have went to the Knicks. Now, he says that wouldn't have been the case. He said the Knicks were never in the conversation. I don't believe that. I think it would have been Kyrie trying to follow KD to New York to play with the Knicks versus Kyrie leading the ship and KD following Kyrie. Again, KD had a ruptured Achilles at the time to Brooklyn. We are what we are, though. Kevin Durant left the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are right back to dominance. Now Andrew Wiggins is an all-star. If Wiggins is an all-star, you know what that means. KD would have been he probably have another championship by now, at least. The Warriors, even if Clay would have took the time that it took him to get back, which is 2 seasons, you telling me Steph and KD wouldn't have been good enough to compete out west last year with against Chris Paul and the Suns, against Paul George and the Clippers? They dealt with their injuries. Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets dealt with their injuries. The Lakers were abysmal. They dealt with their injuries. You're telling me that the Jazz dealt with injuries? You're telling me even without Klay Thompson, you're telling me Steph and KD wouldn't have been able to compete the way Steph was playing? And I know I'm saying a lot of what ifs, but I'm just telling you, KD and Steph alongside Draymond and a couple other guys that they got, that last year would have still been enough to compete. And Kevin Durant's got to live with that decision. It was an all-time great decision to join the Golden State Warriors, leaving Russell Westbrook in the dust. As we look back on it now, Westbrook just is ridiculous. He doesn't listen to anybody. He only cares about himself and his stats, and he'll win as long as he's the reason why they win, and they win the way he wants to win, which is with him getting triple-doubles. He is ridiculous. Nothing was wrong with KD leaving Oklahoma City, even leaving to go to Golden State, and we criticize KD for that. And as media and fans, whatever you might fall under, we deserve blame for that. Russ is so bad, I do not blame KD for not only wanting to get that bad stench out of his mouth, but wanting to go to excellence, even if excellence came back from down 3-1 against you just a couple months prior. That's how nasty a stench Brody can seemingly leave in your mouth. We criticize KD for joining Golden State to the point where he thought the best thing for his career was to create his own path with Kyrie Irving. Man, somebody pray for the mental of Durant. He had to deal with Russell Westbrook. He had to deal with James Harden, and now he's dealing with Kyrie. This has been awful. KD can't even buy a break. Part of the reason why I believe KD's getting hurt is because he can't afford to miss a game. The Nets have had no opportunity to just kind of work him back the way you need to work back a guy who's approaching his mid-30s off a ruptured Achilles, who's 7 feet tall. There's no time for that. The Nets need him. They can't win games without him. Kyrie Irving and this Brooklyn thing has been a disaster. DeAndre Jordan ain't even there no more. Steve Nash has been a disaster. We will look back on Durant leaving Golden State as the Warriors seemingly are right back to dominance and look like they about to have another 3 to 5 year run at it with Clay returning. They got these young guys like Jonathan Kuminga, Moody. These dudes is hooping, man. These dudes is balling. Now, Wiggins is an all-star in the prime of his career. Steph is still great, playing at an MVP level. They're right back ready to go at it for another run here. Probably Steve Kerr's last few years as a coach. They're going for it. And Durant could be a part of that, resting and healing and slowly working himself back into game shape. Instead, he's in Brooklyn, probably on his burner account, talking about Kyrie Irving. All-time bad move, and we deserve blame as media and fans for that one because we criticized him for going to Golden State, and now we're criticizing him for leaving the Warriors and going to Brooklyn. It just ain't fair to an NBA athlete sometimes. But hey, man, y'all get paid a lot of money for it to be unfair to you guys, and unfortunately for KD, some of his decisions, man, I don't know. If he could redo them, I wonder what he would do differently.